Hi, let's talk about cigar box guitars. Hi, Mike Breedlove with MGB Guitars. You can find us at mgbguitars.com. We are a manufacturer and supplier of cigar box guitar parts. Our parts are also used on other instruments, and they can even be used on most guitars that are out there. I'd like to talk to you today about our company and talk to you about a new endeavor that we have going on, and it's called The Build. We are now getting ready to launch a new website that's focused on sharing videos about cigar box guitars and other instruments and how to build them. We're going to talk a little bit about the science behind making music on a cigar box guitar, and those will all be on The Build. And you'll be able to see these videos. We're going to be doing a series of videos. We're going to add those to all the videos we've done previously, but we'll have a nice collection of videos to cover all of the topics and help you if you want to build a cigar box guitar. I'd like to give you a little bit of my background, a little bit of my story, and how it all happened for me. I've been a woodworker all my life. I tell people I've had a 50-year love affair with wood. Been building since in junior high when I went to my first shop class, and I've just had a lot of fun along the way. Built a lot of stuff over the years, and everybody kind of liked my stuff and said it was pretty decent. But then when I found out about 2010, I found out about a new category of products, a new category, a new hobby called cigar box guitars. I saw my first one in 2010, and I immediately said, boy, that's really cool. I need to build one of those. So this is the first one. You can see it's even dated here. Number 1, 2010 was the first one I built. Just to let you know up front, I can't play. I don't know how to play a guitar. I don't know much about music. I've never played an instrument, but I knew I could probably build one of these just by looking at it. And so I started down that path of building cigar box guitars. Again, this was my first one, 2010. And again, I was able to get on the internet and I was able to look up information. I was able to see some other examples. And I said, well, I think I can do that. I can learn about this. And so I set about making this. The interesting thing when I got done with it, from what I know now, this was a totally unplayable instrument. Nice effort, first try, but it wasn't really very good. But I was hooked. Because what I found out, was very, very interesting. When I started to show this around, unlike other things where people just gave me kind of a nice pat on the back, great job, Mike, people really got excited about this. They almost lost their mind. They wanted one. And I began to think in my mind, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something I need to explore. So I started building other ones and giving them to family and friends. And there was a lot of excitement and a lot of interest. And before you know it, I was building more and more. And then I began to look for better, for places to get the parts and stuff that I needed. I've been traveling to China since the 90s. Know a lot about doing business there. Knew a lot of where some factories were, where some towns were that had musical instruments. So I started getting some, using them. And the next thing you know, I was in business with mgbguitars.com. So when we get back to our videos that we're going to be coming out with, we're going to help you with a lot of that information. We're going to talk about all the different components. We're going to even go back and talk about the history of cigar box guitars. We'll talk about boxes. We're going to talk about necks. We'll spend time talking about the electronics. And we'll even talk about strings, some assembly techniques, some of the things you need to do to build a cool cigar box guitar. Hope you stay in tune with us. Hope you follow our other videos. You'll see a lot of great information there. But one of the things I want to do is I want to help share some information. This was the first one I built. This is the most recent one I built. This is it's not a cigar box. It's actually a whiskey box. This is a 6-string instrument that I just finished up a couple of weeks ago. This is number 1. This is probably somewhere around number 300. I've learned a lot in the meantime. And I think I'd like to share some of that with you. And I think that it might be helpful to you because what we can do is you can jump through a lot of my learning process by listening to these videos, and it'll help you maybe do a better job of building instruments. One of the things I want to share with you is as I was going down this path, I kept asking myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I making a good instrument? Yeah, they looked cool, and yeah, they would be fun, and you could strum them and they'd make some sound, but are they really a good instrument? And then I was able to connect with some players, some artists, and I began to learn a little bit more about it. I talked to some other artists, I talked to other builders, and I began to really understand what it is you're trying to do when you make a cigar box guitar an instrument. what is critical. What I learned real early on was you need to be able to make the right notes. And so one of the things I did is I've always been kind of scientific, and I kind of want to take a look at what I'm doing. And as they say, one measurement is worth 1,000 guesses. And so the question is this right? And then there's a way to measure it. So what I did is I took 35 instruments that I had built. Most of them were built by me, but a few of them were from some of my friends. And so what I did was I actually measured the note in frequency of the A note of 440 hertz. And so what you can see here is you see the yellow line there? That's where I'm supposed to be. But when I measured 35 instruments and I measured the actual frequency, this was the distribution. And I began to see that on some of them, I was getting pretty far away. What I actually did was I took the D string, I tuned a string to D, then I went down to the 19th fret and I pressed it and I tried to see how close I would come to the A. It wasn't very good. As you can see, I missed on a lot of them. As a matter of fact, when you start to get over here, I'm closer to an A sharp than I am a D. So that was a problem. So that was also an opportunity for me to get better. So I've been working on that. And again, I hope that as you look at these videos and you see what we share, that it might also help you to build a better instrument. And this is critical because I've learned in talking to artists that you got to be on. I remember one artist in particular I built one guitar for, and they came back for another guitar, and I thought I had it set up pretty good, and they were playing it here, and she looked at me and she said, "I can't use this." And I said, "Why?" She says, "It's off." And she said, "Especially if I sing, I can't do this." Well, I had to rework the guitar because I had something messed up on it, but I got it kind of back into where it needed to be. So one of the things you have to keep in mind, for some people, it doesn't really matter, but for some people, it really does matter. And so we need to build better instruments. I do. I'm trying to get better on each one they built. So here's a couple of suggestions. As you go forward, if this is your first time to see something about a cigar box guitar and you want to go forward, go for it. Again, I'm not a player. I'm a builder. I can make stuff, but you can too. So if you've never built a cigar box guitar, don't let that stop you. It doesn't take too much to build a basic guitar. Some of the other things I'd like to encourage you to do is learn all you can. There are a number of really good books out there. These are some of the books that once I got started, I had to jump and buy all of these books to learn a little bit about making guitar. A lot of great information in there. Also, there's just tons and tons of stuff on the web. It's one of the great parts of living in the early part of the 21st century. You can go on the websites and you can see all kinds of information. There's a whole community on Facebook and you connect with a lot of people there. There's all kinds of YouTube videos from me and from other builders that will help you in your journey. The next thing I'd like to suggest is maybe you look for a mentor. Try and find somebody who's been down this path before. There are builders all over the country, all over the world. And if you can find one, connect with them and maybe stop by their shop and have them give you some pointers. Anybody is welcome to come here and visit us at MGB Guitars. We're just north of Tampa. If you're ever in the area, look us up, stop by. We'd be glad to talk with you. We've had a lot of builders come into the shop and build their first instrument here, and we're always happy to help those people. The next thing is be realistic. Be realistic. You're building a cigar box guitar. I had one person came in who asked me, he says, "I want to build a cigar box guitar, Mike, but I'm looking for a Les Paul sound." Not going to get that with a cigar box guitar. So be realistic. Also try and build stuff that's respectable. Again, when you have an instrument, if you have it tuned to a D and you come down to the 19th fret and you pluck it, it better be an A and get as close as is possible. And then beyond that, just have fun. These things are wonderful. You're going to meet a lot of great people. You're going to get a lot of people that look at your stuff and just be totally surprised. Everybody who builds one, it's the old thing, it's kind of like a potato chip. You can't just eat one, or you can't just build one. Before you know it, family members, friends are all going to be wanting you to build a cigar box guitar for them. Thanks, keep in touch. If I can help you, look me up. Go to the build, you'll find all kinds of information we'll share with you there to help you build a cigar box guitar or other instruments. Thanks.